Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the FIFA Women's World Cup post-match press conference, and welcome the team coach of New Zealand, Tom Sermani. And we open the floor for questions. Just to remind you, please firstly tell us your language.
Hi, Tom. In English, Derek Van Diesen, Post Media. Just your thoughts and impressions of the match. You guys look like you really kind of had a pretty good resistance in the first half, and then the early goal kind of changed things.
I think we were holding on from the start, to be honest. I don't think at any stage we got a foothold in the game. To be honest, I thought we were thoroughly outplayed. I thought we never really any stage had an opportunity to be in the game. So I've got to congratulate Canada for an outstanding performance. But I felt that some of the things that we did well in the previous game, we didn't do well tonight. You know, I don't think we won a challenge. I don't think we won any kind of loose ball. I don't think we at any time got close enough to put pressure on the Canadian players. And as I say, that's probably a combination of both things. One, you can't take it away from how well they played tonight. The ball movement was slick. The interchanging was good. You know, you could just tell the chemistry between the players was excellent. So, you know, that's as I say, down to what they did. And on the other hand, we really never got close physically tonight at all. And then lost a fullback early in the first half. You know, so that's two key defenders we've lost, in the one just before the tournament and then this one, and that really hurts a team like us. You know, when you don't have the depth that some of the other teams have. So, yeah, I think the players will be disappointed tonight, and then we'll be disappointed with, I won't say effort, because I think everybody puts in effort, but we never really put in an effort that put Canada under any pressure.
Hi, Tom. My question's in English. Given the performance tonight, how do you get the team to regroup ahead of a really important game against Cameroon?
Well, we've got a few more days. You know, we've got an extra day to get ready for this game, which gives us a little bit of time. You know, when we come into this game, we had 1 day less than the Canadian players, which may have made a slight difference. Look, it's just what we've got to do as a team like New Zealand is we've got to try and turn up. We've got to turn up in the next game. And we talked about doing the things that we can do the very best we can do them. Tonight we didn't do that. You know, and when that happens to us, playing against teams of Canada's level, we just simply can't compete. So the key thing is just to regroup, refocus, get everybody healthy, and then go on to the next game. We're a team that's going to win and lose games at times. So, you know, we just need to get back up for it.
Question in English, Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press. Tom, is there any medical update on CJ?
Yeah, she's broken a wrist. I don't know which part. I don't know if it's a bit further up the arm or the wrist. I think it's a wrist, but she's broken her arm. And it was actually the ball. The ball hit, she had a fist, her hand just happened to be closed apparently, and the ball's just hit her straight on the hand, and it's broken her wrist. So that, yeah. I mean, she's one of our young players who is one of our, you know, future talents, and she's really fought her way into the team and been one of our standout and most consistent players over our build-up, as was Michaela Moore, who we lost 2 days before the tournament. So those kind of things, as I say, when you've got a team that doesn't have the same depth as some of the bigger countries, that can really hurt you.
Tim Gurney in English. Tom, two quick questions. One is, how long do you think CJ will be out with you and then with Victoire?
I've no idea. Honestly, she's just gone to the hospital now, and we haven't had an update from the docs with her. We haven't had an update as to the severity of the injury. So I really don't know.
And in terms of the future, what would you like to see New Zealand's federation implement to help build the program?
I think, I mean, I've only been there 10 minutes. It's like 6 months, so I'm very cautious about what to say because there's a lot of good things going on in the country. You know, it's just, I think the key thing is, as I found with the likes of Australia, is that your talent identification is really, really critical. And then once you do that, getting those players into a program that really takes them to the next level. So it's a combination of those things.
Just to follow up to something you said earlier, Tom, when you think about how you're going to motivate the players for the next game, you know, people know that you're not someone who's going to, you know, blow the doors off a room. But, you know, after the first 2 games, how do you really think you're going to reach the players?
I just lock them in the rooms. I don't, and that's it. Don't let them out. Bread and water. Look, it's like anything. You've got to be practical and you've got to be realistic. You know, the days of going in and taking the paint off the walls as a coach, I kind of are not effective in the situation that we're in. What we need to do is we need to, you know, thoroughly analyse tonight what we felt went wrong, and then what we need to do better when we go into the next game, and then work at that, and then go out into the next game and bounce back again. You know, and one of the things we've done in our preparation to come to the World Cup, because we, you know, had some issues at the Federation last year and lost a significant amount of that first part of preparation, we played some games on the road and we had some defeats. And then we bounced back and had some victories. So we've got to be able just to get down and logically analyse tonight and then figure out then what we need to do going forward.
Tom, as one of the founders of the W League, is there a possibility, or have you thought of the idea to have 1 or 2 squads from New Zealand enter that league?
In the actual league play, yeah, the problem you have is there's 2 issues with that. One is that New Zealand are foreign players in the W League, so they're not. If they're domestic players, that would be great. So being foreign players, then it's usually it has to be if you like, the more experienced international players that can go there. The reality is that most of our players that are eligible for that are playing in Europe. So the European season doesn't fit in with the W League. So that makes it more difficult to get the players in there that we really need to get in there. Oh, look, we've looked at, so that was about a team joining the league. We've looked at the possibility of that. It would be great we would love to do it in New Zealand. From Australia's perspective, they would look at the finances. They would look at whether, what benefit it would do Australian football to bring in a New Zealand team when they could bring in another Australian team, which logistically, financially, development-wise, would be better for them. So convincing them to bring in a New Zealand team is a little bit difficult. You're not allowed to leave, unless you've got a note.
In English, Lee from Post Media Canada. Tom, difficult draw to play the European champions and then the Canadians, you know, top 5 ranked in the world. Which was the more difficult opponent in your eyes, and who do you think is going to go on to win this group?
That's a good question. I think Canada were the most difficult opponent, and I say that because they give you a different challenge. You know, the Dutch team are very structured in how they play. So for a team like New Zealand, it makes it a little bit easier to be able to set up to counteract them, the kind of player. Canada are much more flexible in what they do. They can float in from one system to another. They can play a short passing game. They can play a long passing game. They've got depth in their squad. They've got a robustness about them that makes them very competitive as well. So they probably, you know, they're two kind of different teams, and I think Canada probably would have the edge for me right now, but there's not much in it.
Yes, please.
My question is in English. Anna from CONCACAF. Coach, could you describe the evolution of Canada from your coaching perspective over the years?
Yeah, they've got much better since I left. No, I think what they've done, don't quote me on that, but no, I think what they've done is that you've seen it, so like the core of the team that played tonight was there in 2015 when I was with the Federation. And what they've done is that team's continued to develop and got better and got closer knit and improved in every aspect of the play. And at the same time, it's been reinforced by, you know, a group of younger players that are very much got the skill sets for the modern day game. You know, they've got pace, they're skillful, they're powerful. So, you know, they've really sort of, the programs have stepped on, not just over the last 4 years, but that stuff was put in place mainly by John Herdman a couple of years before that. And now they're starting to see the flow of that system being put in place.
Okay, thank you very
Good.
much for attending press conference.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, to the FIFA Women's World Cup press conference of match number 21 between Canada and New Zealand. Welcome, Coach Kenneth Heimmuller, and welcome the player of the match, Jessie Fleming, presented by Visa. For questions, please raise your hand before asking your question and presenting yourself. Kindly tell us the language you're going to ask your question. Now the floor is open for questions. Yes, please.
Question in English for Kenneth. Neil Davidson, the Canadian Press. Canada was perhaps a little frustrating first half again. Did you feel that the floodgates were going to open at some point if your team kept playing that way?
Yeah, I think that was the message at halftime. Like, continue what we're doing. We are creating more and more opportunities, and the chances are getting bigger and bigger. And I think that was exactly what we did. More aggressiveness in the penalty box as well. Yeah, we got the goals in the second half, but you know, the lead-in was the entire first half where we passed the ball around very good, and you can stand against that in a certain period of time, and then I think we benefited from the first half, the way we played in the second half.
Yes, we have a question.
Harjeet Johal, Equalizer Soccer, Canadian English. Coach, what was the thought process behind switching to the 3-5-2 formation in the first half?
Well, we think we got the players to play in different ways and different structures, and we've been working very hard to make this work, and I think today we definitely reached another level on the way we can approach and get around some of the defending structures. Again, and this was the team we played against today that we found this formation structure beneficial to, and like we got a very, very intelligent group of players who can switch in game, between games, in moments, and that's just, you know, impressive. So it was about taking the front two out, and I think we did a very good job.
So we can ask the questions to the player of the match, Jessie, before we liberate her to the dressing rooms, please.
Yeah, no problem. Derek Vandy's Post Media in English. Jessie, just a thought on getting a World Cup goal and a big win for you guys today.
Yeah, I think just excited as a group to get the win. I know coming into the group stage, we wanted to come out with 3 wins, so 2 out of 3 and 1 more to go. And then, yeah, I think just really excited to be able to help the team with that win.
Yes, please.
Jessie, Anna from CONCACAF. Could you describe your goal?
I think Nish was able to get on it in behind with a little bit of space, and I was just making a run into the box, and I mean, her pass placed it right on my foot. So I think I was just in a good spot, but I think just really good build-up play from us.
Yes, please, but don't forget to mention the language first. Thank you.
The question is in English. Jessie, can you just tell us how you saw the play unfold and why you decided to pursue it in the first place and kind of get into the box? It just happened really fast. And beyond that, you're a very young player, and you hopefully have a very bright career ahead of you. Can you just talk about having this moment, scoring your first World Cup goal, and you know, the trajectory you'd like to see yourself go on with Canada?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the goal is fast. I think it's because Nish was breaking the line. She's pretty speedy, so I think when I saw that, I was just running as fast as I could to get in the box and hopefully get on the end of a cross. And again, I mean, she placed it right on my foot, so I was just trying to be in a good spot for her. And yeah, I think just to reiterate, just very excited to be able to score a goal and help my team win. And be a part of this team and group of players, and hopefully we'll be able to continue that throughout the tournament.
One last question for Jessie.
This will be in English. Lee from Post Media Canada. When you're in a stadium like that, playing in front of a crowd like that, and how many Maple Leafs are in the crowd, and you hear the Canada chants, and you know there's thousands of girls at home watching, but the crowd tonight, how does that impact you on the field and the players around you?
I mean, I think it's always special to see the flag in the stands, and especially being in a foreign country, it's really unique to get to know that our families and friends are in the crowd, and then that we have total strangers cheering for us and wearing that same flag. So I think it's helpful when we get a little bit of momentum. We've got some cheers behind our back. So and then in terms of fans at home, and again, like I think just having a little bit of wind at our back from those guys is really special for us.
Thank you, Jessie. Congratulations. We will proceed with the coach. Yes, we have a question over there.
A question in English. Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press again. Kenneth, you faced two tenacious defensive teams so far. Do you feel that the challenge is going to go up a level with the European champion Dutch? And also the two teams are both going forward. You've obviously looked at the draw. Do you care which way you go?
Well, I'll definitely think that the Netherlands will be a tough opposition. But New Zealand isn't a hard team to beat. Like we've watched them win against England, a very tight match against Holland as well. So it's not. I'm not underestimating this performance and this win against New Zealand, but knowing that we'll play a team that come in with more experience, more confidence, and with players playing in the bigger leagues in Europe. So it might be a little step up. But like we definitely look at the opponents and see where can we hurt them and what do we need to shut down. But we most of all look at ourselves. I think we've continued growing in the tournament as we did from match 1 to match 2. We'll have a great game, and I'm looking forward to play Holland.
Yes, please. Oh, there's a second question. Okay.
Sorry,
In
Kenneth, in English again. Sorry, I was just wondering, both you and the Dutch will advance. You've looked at the draw. Do you care which road you go, is 1E or 2E?
No, not really. I think like it's so difficult to decide on a match what way you want to go. Like we go into the tournament, I think we've been very good at saying, one step at a time. We took steps forward. Hopefully we'll take a third one, and then we'll play whoever we're gonna play. And that's a World Cup. So we're definitely just looking ahead to the next match, try to win that one, and let's see who's coming up.
Yes, please.
Hi, in English, Derek Van Diest, the Post Media Canada. Kenneth, I just want to ask you about Nichelle Prince. She's been working so hard. She's been getting in such good positions. She finally got the goal now. Can you just give me a thought on her play and how much now you expect her level to raise that she got that goal for you?
Yeah, like to your point, like she has been working very hard. I think on her aerobic capacity, she's just turned like a different level. I'll say 2 levels at it in the last couple of years. So she can defend and attack. She used to be a 30-minute player. Now she's a 90-minute player. She's good in the touch. She's working very fine with Sinky and Jessie up front. The partnership is definitely growing, and she has some good finishes today. Sometimes that's what her game has been lagging, but when she's really, really like getting eager to score, then you see what's actually happening. Like she has a very good shot in the second half as well, almost a header, wall save from the keeper. So she stepped up a little bit in the second half, and that was good.
Yes, please.
Kenneth, in a tournament like this, once a team is qualified with 6 points after 2 matches, sometimes they tend to rest some of their stars or some of their better players in preparation for the knockout stages. Do you see yourself doing that, or do you see the team keep rolling with the players that are on the field?
To be completely honest, right, like I've looked at this match and that's it. I haven't set a team for the next match. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I think we are traveling tomorrow, but that was this match, and then tomorrow we'll look at the next match. Right now, I can't really answer that.
Yes, please.
My question's in English. Anna from CONCACAF. Coach, could you describe Jade Riviere's performance?
That was impressive, eh? How old is she?
18.
Okay, 18. Yeah, that was quite of a debut in a World Cup. So I've been very lucky of spending some time with Jade on the Under-17 World Cup. saw what she could do there at her age, or on her own, in her own age group. She's got a bright future in front of her. She's an attacking fullback. She was a wide forward until a couple of years ago, and she's been working very, very hard to improve her defensive game. I think she's improved a lot, but you can see what she can do when she's actually attacking as a wingback. So it's not like a wingback who defends, but a wingback that attacks. So she played with a lot of confidence today, which is, great job for her. Great job for her mental performance. Great job from a tech crew as well. But yeah, I must congratulate her on that performance. That was awesome.
Yes, please.
Tim Graney in English. Can you talk about why you started her over Elisa?
Yeah, we have I'm definitely not getting ahead of myself, but we had some issues if Chappie could play back-to-back 90s. So we had to make a decision on when that rest period was meant for Chappie. And we decided that was the match today.
Yes.
In English, Derek Van Diest, Post Media. I want to ask you about Christine St Clair, because she seems like that striker that is kind of invisible for a while, and then she gets a crossbar, then she hits a post, then she has a chance in front. Just what are your thoughts on her performance today? And on another day, she could have had 3 goals today.
Yeah, I think that's if you went into the other locker room and looked at their tactics, I could imagine they say, and by the way, don't get Sinky on a cross. Don't get Sinky on a cross, right? And they're actually fulfilling that tactic until a certain point. But then the rest of the players around her start creating chances, start getting on the ball, start getting into the penalty area, and then all of a sudden they don't take too much notice of her, and then she's lethal. So we know that she'll be the first player on the tactic boards from the other team, and she'll have a hard time. So we make sure that players around her create stuff when they're paying attention to Sinky. And yeah, to your point, she could definitely have a few goals in today, but she worked hard, for 90 minutes for this team. So she's a team player,
Yes.
In English, Lee Cormish from Post Media Canada. Tonight's performance, how satisfied are you compared to your expectations?
Yeah, I think our expectations are so super high. I'm very happy for the performance. I'm very happy for the win. But I know this team got more, and it's like if you're hungry, you're eating a little bit, but you're still a little bit hungry, right? I know this team can do so much more. I know every time you just have a bad pass, I'm almost kicking myself. But we performed very well, very well. I'm very happy about this team performance, but I know we can do even better. So we're stepping up. We're stepping in, but there's more to this team that you saw tonight.
Yes, please.
Question in English. Kenneth, forgive me if I go back to the formation change, but was that something you saw in the first 50 minutes of the game, that it would benefit you if you switched, or had you planned that you might do this at that time?
No, that was planned. We would look at options of our structure. If they do this, then we do that. And we were quite positive that they were defending with a 4 on a 4. And then the players they had on the pitch, we saw there were some opportunities on the side. So it's not just because it's a 4 on a 4, it's the players they have and in the positions they had them. So we wanted to look at it the first 10 minutes, seeing what they were actually doing, and then seeing if we could hurt them a little bit with the 5 midfield. So that was more the decisive decision behind.
I believe our press conference reached to its end. Thank you very much, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.